Hi, Jason. How are you today?
Hey, James, it's terrific to see you. I'm well, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for joining our talk. And perhaps for those who haven't met you yet, maybe a word about your background and the work that you've been doing in digital.
Yeah, well, I've been at this for a bit of time. I'm a fourth generation retailer. Was one of the early e-commerce practitioners that helped stand up e-commerce initiatives. If you go back far enough, even at like Blockbuster Entertainment in the early 90s. Kids, ask your parents what that is. And then today I lead the commerce strategy discipline for Publicis Group, a big marketing and advertising holding company.
Yeah, well, one of the things that you've always been doing is being at the forefront of what some of the trends are. And as I looked at the calendar, we are coming up at the end of the calendar year, so which of course means it's time for predictions, outlooks, forecasts. What do you see coming up for us next year? I mean, certainly we just lived through a very pivotal year in the transformation of digital and widespread adoption. How does that carry forward for next year?
Yeah, well, it's a great question. And, generally, historically speaking, my predictions have been wrong. So take this with a grain of salt. But the conversations I'm having with clients, one of the topics that's coming up most often is around what I'll very broadly call distributed commerce. And by that, I mean commerce experiences above and beyond your owned touch points, like your website and your stores. And so the most hyped version of this that everyone's talking about right now is live streaming commerce. But I would also talk about endemic checkout that's rolling out on Twitter and Pinterest, and checkout experiences that are built into advertising and media that's offsite, and of course live streaming commerce. It seems like this is going to be the year, at the very least, for much more significant pilots than we've seen in the past.
One question on that, just a follow-up. It seems like one of the trends, of course, that happened over the past year was there's a real push now to make every moment shoppable, and for businesses and brands to make memorable moments that are digital first. And then the question is, of course, how do we make those moments deepening the brand value, deepening the relationship with the consumer, making it much more convenient? And obviously, we're all in the business of commerce and making that transactional.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And historically, we're all consuming more content than ever before. And worldwide, there have always been two ways to pay for content, or three ways. Some people pay outright for content. That's the most rare. Here in the West, we're used to watching advertisements in exchange for our content. And in the East, like particularly in China, people are used to buying things as a way to repay the commerce. And now in the West, that so much marketing has moved to digital, and now the digital attribution is a little more cloudy with the changes to privacy and third-party cookies and mobile tracking. It just puts a real emphasis on finding ways to pay for this content through commerce experiences. So we see, a lot of folks that would have been happy to have sort of a media experience before now want to get all the way to the bottom of the funnel and know that content ultimately help aid in a purchase decision.
Isn't that fascinating? Yeah, what you buy and what you sell are often very different things, and it's very interesting to hear that the product purchase is often a way to have an equitable value exchange for content that was delivered. Super fascinating. Well, it's going to be another great year coming up. I mean, certainly we're in one of the most pivotal moments in digital that I think we've seen, and I think we maybe say this every year, but certainly feels different going into this year than any other in the past. So really want to thank you for coming on, sharing some of your insights and points of view. It's great to have an opportunity to hear this, and I look forward to doing this again soon.
Oh my gosh, hopefully we could do it in person next time, James. It's great to see you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for certain.